How do you help your kids after a divorce? That's a tough question. Sometimes a divorced person feels like, okay, I think I'm going to make it, but what about my children? One of the things that I've found is very helpful in looking at how your kids might fare after a divorce is to imagine that your whole family was involved in a horrible airplane crash. Now, I know that sounds terrible, but it's really helpful. Medical analogies really help us understand other kinds of emotional and spiritual healing. So remember, the plane now is going down and everybody's scared and crying and upset and something bad is going to happen. So you know what the flight attendants always tell you: put your mask on first. Take a deep breath, breathe in the Holy Spirit, pray, 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 get help, do everything you can to stabilize yourself. And then and only then can you be the strongest and most stable help that you can for your children. The next thing to remember is, now pretend that we're still in this airplane crash and you've all been sent home, but in the first 48 or 72 hours to keep a close eye on the kids' symptoms. You want to listen for listlessness or funny breathing or high fevers that might develop. And this is a time after divorce when you also keep close to your children and watch their behavior. See how they are. Are they crying? Are they having nightmares? Some of those things you can deal with a Band-Aid, as it were, or a cup of hot cocoa. But other things are signs of deeper problems. And if that's the case, you want to get help immediately. The next thing to remember is you can't solve all the kids' problems by yourself. You are not a doctor. You are not a professional. You're not a therapist. So avail yourself of the help that we have in the community of those who understand the problems of divorce and how kids go through them. After this airplane crash, if kids had a high fever, you could tell they needed help, you'd call 911. You wouldn't wait. Do the same when your kids are having emotional problems that maybe you can't handle by yourself. I think the last thing to remember too is to accept the fact you've all been wounded, all of you. But wounds aren't the end of our story. And even sometimes wounds suffered in divorce, internal bleeding as it were, may take years to appear. Even your children as adults may still be wrestling with problems from the divorce. It's okay, it's going to be okay, because God designed us to heal continually over time. So keep praying, keep listening, keep talking, keep watching, and make sure you entrust your children to His care.